of my remarks today come from this book. Joe Robinson talks about how we have lost nutrients and flavor by breeding the medicine out of our food. So how can we reclaim what we have lost? Grapes from Chile can be on the seas for 10 days. How many days before that were they picked? And how many days after docking until they get to our tables? I live near farms in Brentwood and often see trucks loaded up with bright green tomatoes in the summer. I often wonder where they're headed and when they'll get there. Plants can't fight their enemies or hide from them, so they protect themselves by producing an arsenal of chemical compounds that protect them from insects, disease, and browsing animals. There are more than 8,000 different phytonutrients that have been identified to date, and each plant produces several hundred of them. The 170 phytonutrients they have identified in an orange are of more value than the isolated vitamin C in the orange. And see on this slide how many are in just one apple. Most food scientists and nutritionists believe that if we were still eating wild plants, there would be no need for supplements. One species of wild tomato, for example, has 15 times more lycopene than the typical supermarket tomato. Some of the native potatoes that grow in the foothills of the Andes have 28 times more phytonutrients than our russet potatoes. One species of wild apple that grows in Nepal has an amazing 100 times more bionutrients than our most popular apples. Just a few ounces of that fruit provide the same phytonutrients as 6 large Fujis or galas. Our familiar orange carrots originated in Afghanistan about 5,000 years ago, and they were purple. Interesting how now we are seeing purple carrots in the market, right? The ancestor of our beefsteak tomato is a berry-sized fruit, smaller than our cherry tomatoes that grows on the sides of the Andes Mountains. Old-fashioned sweet corn that originated in Mexico was 4% protein and 10% sugar. Some of the new super sweet varieties are as high as 40% sugar. And guess what? Snickers bars have only 27 grams of sugar. Greens for salads are one of the popular things people like to grow in home gardens, so I thought it would be fun to look at some salad food facts. Loose and open leaves have more bionutrients than tightly wrapped leaves. So choose arugula, mixed greens, curly endive, red or green loose leaf varieties, and don't forget that tightly wrapped, light colored greens are not as nutritious. Give your salads a nutritional boost with arugula, radicchio, endive, and spinach. And tear up your lettuce into bite-sized pieces before storing for extra nutrition. It thinks it's being attacked, so throws out more phytonutrients. And I'd like to say a little bit about olive oil. We humans cannot absorb some of the most important nutrients in salad greens unless the dressing or meal greens are served with contains some fat. A study at Purdue showed that olive oil does the best job. It takes 7 times more soybean oil than olive oil to get the same results. And soybean oil is the most common commercial dressing. And when Hippocrates said, "Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food," he was probably giving a toast with a goblet of red wine during a meal that was very heavy with onions and garlic. The allium family, garlic, onions, shallots, scallions, chives, and leeks have been celebrated throughout history as savory vegetables, and they're essential condiments and even life-saving medicine. Did you know in 700, during the early Olympic Games, athletes used them to increase strength? During the Black Death, French priests added garlic and onions to their meals to fend off the disease. Onions were used as field dressings by the Union troops during the Civil War, and as recently as 2009, a small country in Europe gave an onion and several cloves of garlic to all the army soldiers every day to fend off H1N1, and I could go on and on. So a few tips. With garlic, chop it, but keep it away from the heat for 10 minutes for more nutrition. Like lettuce, it thinks it's being attacked. Onions, smaller is better, and use the skin in your soups and stews. You can always scoop them out because they have more nutrients than the rest of the onion. Shallots are 6 times more phytonutrients than onions, and leeks don't last very long in the refrigerator, so use them up quickly. Now, a few facts about beans and peas. Thomas Jefferson grew 19 cultivars at Monticello. A blue-hued pea called Lucia, scarlet and crimson runner beans were just a few. And today, most peas and beans in the supermarket are green. They just happen to be the least nutritious of our peas and beans. That's why I love growing from seeds and buying from online catalogs with many colorful varieties. I grow yellow and purple snow peas every year, and part of the reason is because they are so much easier to find when you're harvesting. If you grow green peas, buy snow or snap peas because there's more nutrition in the pod than in the pea itself. Fresh black-eyed peas have almost 5 times more antioxidant activity than common green peas. Another thing about beans and peas, freezing them destroys about 25% of their antioxidants. Now, with a tower garden, I found gardening is easy and effortless. It eliminates the need for soil testing and digging and amending the soil, especially with clay that so many of us have in this area. And it does away with soil-related pests and diseases, making it easier to plant, fertilize, irrigate, and harvest. Now, the tower pictured on the left is designed to be used outdoors, and in most of the San Francisco Bay Area, we're fortunate to be able to grow all year outdoors. It takes up 3 feet of floor space, holds 20 plants, and has a 20-gallon reservoir. The monthly no-interest payment for 1 year for the flex pictured on the left is $52, and the home with lights is $81. The home has space for 32 plants with a 13-gallon reservoir, LED lights, and takes up 2 feet of floor space. Now, we know about the greater yield with tower garden growing because of the research that was done at the University of Mississippi. These are just some of the results. Red kale, 65% greater yield. And I really love knowing that my cherry tomatoes are going to grow 35% more on the tower than in the dirt. Here's a short video on how it works.
Tower Garden's state-of-the-art aeroponic vertical garden system uses both water and air to produce more colorful, better-tasting, and incredibly nutritious fruits, vegetables, and herbs. Tower Garden has a 20-gallon reservoir at its base that stores the Tower Tonic nutrient solution. Developed by experts in plant and human nutrition, Tower Tonic Mineral Blend enables superior plant growth and better nutrition from your Tower Garden produce. The process begins once the seedlings have been placed in your tower garden. Here they will be nourished with Tower Tonic nutrient solution. Inside the reservoir is a small, low-wattage submersible pump. The pump pushes the nutrient solution up to the tower. From there, the nutrient solution drips through the central tower using a special device that evenly cascades the solution over the exposed plant roots. On the journey down the tower, the nutrient solution feeds the roots and becomes highly oxygenated as it cascades gently down the reservoir. This process is continuous, providing fresh oxygen, water, and nutrients to the roots of the plants. This patented aeroponic process enables food crops to grow faster than they would in soil, so they can be harvested more often. And it makes Tower Garden a healthier, easier, smarter way to grow your produce.
And join us next month when our topic will be From Seed to Tower, a demonstration of how to use tower gardens to grow health. It all begins with the seeds, so you will see where it goes from there. So that's May 18th from 12:30 to 1. And here's our team if you want to contact any of us with specific questions.